at one point, my mom was working 3 jobs. Wow. My dad was working 2. So there was really no parent at home. I was the parent, right?
Yeah.
Taking the kids to their sports, being the face, like in front of the counselors and stuff.
Wow.
And, so like we talk about good and bad. One of my things that my dad would say was like, "Oh, money is just money. You can always make some more, right?"
Yeah.
So even though we grew up in a time of struggle, he didn't make us feel like we were struggling, right?
Yeah.
Like, we ate a lot of Vienna sausage.
Yeah.
I will not touch Vienna
Vienna
sausage
sausage now.
today. Yeah.
Welcome to the Deals Aloha podcast, where we talk about real estate deals, hope to leave a lasting impact on our audience, and of course, spread aloha. You can find us on all social media platforms at Kamohai and Tristyn. Please like, subscribe, and share. Let's go.
Let's go. So today we're talking with Tahnee, Dela, Calzada.
Yes,
nailed
got 'em.
it.
Nice.
From Shyne Bright Real Estate. She's also a WNN advisor. She's the host of For Real Estate Conference. She's also a commercial real estate investor and a full-time engineer and officer in the Hawaii Army National Guard.
Yay, shout out to my harangue folks.
There you go. All the things.
I mean, that's fucking impressive. So I'm excited to chat with you today because I just know you from networking events and your sister, because she's a realtor.
Yes.
And I know you're doing dope stuff. And so I want to know your story.
All right. So I know you sent me some prep questions
Yeah,
and kind of like thinking about it, like, what is my story? How did I get started in real estate?
Yeah.
And so I guess we'll go back to like 2017. So I got married that year and I told my husband, all right, we got to buy a house, right? And coming from Hawaii, right, that's like a amazing accomplishment that you buy a house, right?
Yeah.
Huge. Yeah.
At that time, I houses weren't as crazy as they are now. Right? The rates were lower, and I used my VA loan, right, to purchase. So we purchased out in Waianae, and as I was thinking about it, a lot of people told me like, "Oh, don't buy out there, right? Don't buy that. It's so far." And I was like, "Nope, I want a yard. I don't care how far I have to drive, right?" So I'm very stubborn. Like, no, once I got it set, my husband was like, "You want to go closer?" I'm like, "No, we're buying this."
Yeah.
Right. So we bought it. And actually, when we were in our escrow process, I had like 7 student loans that I didn't know
That came up.
Were still
like
active?
1 week before we signed.
Wow.
Oh my
Right.
gosh.
So it came up.
Yeah.
And my lender was like, no one's going to want to touch your loan. Your interest rate's going to be 4.8. Right? Like,
Yeah. Now you're like, well, that's
so like
really
they're
good.
telling me like 4.8. I'm like, oh my God, it's so bad. And I don't like being wrong. I don't like to be at fault, right? So I tell my husband, like, oh, it's my fault.
Oh no.
So they gave me the option, like, do you want to go through with it or you want to fix your credit a little bit and then try again?
Yeah.
I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Hit me with the interest. We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And we can always refinance, right?
Right.
Like, okay, what's refinance?
Yeah.
Right. At that time, we didn't know anything about real estate. I just knew buy a house.
Right.
And so that's what we did. We went broke a little bit because I had to pay higher interest, right? So just like first time home buyers, I think we sat on our mattress in the living room for a long time.
Love it.
Right? We didn't buy the furniture. But fast forward a year, my husband was getting deployed. So
he's in the military
He's
too.
in the military too.
Oh, okay.
But he only joined like 5 years ago.
Okay.
Like he just woke up one day.
He's like, I'm gonna join.
I want to join.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Okay.
he can see this. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
But so we turned that into a rental,
Oh,
okay.
right? And so a lot of people like they accidentally get into real estate.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
So we started renting it out. They were paying for our mortgage for about 2 years, and at that time we refinanced. So by the end of that 2 years, I think we were making like negative $40 a month.
Yeah.
But in my head, right, that's so good. Like
So
people,
good.
They were like, oh, they're paying your mortgage down. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Like I'll take negative $40.
Could be worse.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I saw Blaze. I know you guys had Blaze on your guys' show.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
went to elementary school together.
Oh, no way.
Oh, that's so
And
cool.
so I saw that he was doing out of state rentals, and I just finished the Burr book. So I was like, oh my God, Blaze, hey, hi, long time no see. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? I want
Yeah.
to do it too.
Right.
And he's like, I'm a part of WNN. I'm like, okay, what's that? Let me check it out. And so I filled out their little like about me section. Why
Yeah.
do you want to start investing? And I think I had a call scheduled the next day.
Nice.
And kind of went through why I want to do real estate. A lot of people do it, right? Generational wealth,
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
financial freedom. And so when we started that, that's when I actually got serious. And that was like 2019, right? So 17 to 19.
Yeah.
And they asked me like, what kind of, what does my portfolio look like right now? So I had my Waianae home.
Waianae
and then,
rental, yeah.
we also bought another one.
Oh,
So
okay.
that one would be a house hack. So this is what I didn't know
Oh.
anything about.
But you were just
you're-
doing
I
was just
it
doing
without
things.
knowing
Yeah.
the term.
That's classic.
Yeah, house hacked, off market, under market value, and we renovated ourselves.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Yes.
Where did you find
Where-
that?
yeah, where was
in
that one?
Kapolei, so far a realtor.
Oh.
Right. So Lacey, my cut realtor, she's a realtor now. But
Yeah.
before that,
Your
it
home
wa-
girl.
Yeah, the home girl. Yeah, was our family friend.
Yeah.
His name is Key. But yeah, so he helped us like pocket listing. He knew it was coming up.
Yep.
And
Nice.
that's what we did, and we just renovated it as we lived there. A lot of help from family and friends, a lot of yelling back and forth between my husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I wanted to divorce him like 6 times
Yeah,
in
sounds
like
that
6
familiar.
months.
process.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think our neighbors were like, "Oh my God, I hope they're moving out after this." Yeah, so we house hacked that, and they told us, "Look at your portfolio." And we looked at it. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I have a rental in Waianae. I'm making negative $40. That's pretty good."
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh."
They're like, nah, not really.
Yeah, they're like, well, this is what you can do with it, right? And they kind of just opened up that doorway to out-of-state real estate investing, right?
Nice.
Yeah.
And for people in Hawaii, it's so far, right? Some people haven't even left the island,
Right.
And I'm trying to go
Buy.
Buy houses that you don't even, yeah.
in
That's
Missouri,
crazy.
super
Yeah.
far away,
Right.
without setting a foot like on that property,
Virtually.
looking at
Totally
it, right?
virtually.
It's like,
Yep.
and I think I bought my first duplex within like 2.5 months.
Wow.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. So I just like went ahead and was like, okay, yeah, looks like a good deal. Sure.
Dude, you're so much like me, where it's like if we go down a small amount of education and we're like, okay, somebody says no, this is gonna work. We're like, okay, and you just follow the direction and you just do it, like almost blindly in naivety do it, but it fucking works.
Yep.
Because we
exactly.
don't overthink anything. You know what I
Like,
mean? You
okay.
just take the action.
In my head, I did like I balanced out my risk, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
sounds good. Like, sure, let's do this mentorship.
Yeah.
I'll spend these thousands of dollars on this
Right.
mentorship. And my husband was like, "What if it doesn't work?" I'm like, if
See?
it doesn't work, well, at least I know I tried.
Right.
He's like, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm like, you spend a lot of money all the time.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And then now, right, we're investing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, how much
How-
firework?
Oh my God.
Fireworks.
So the roles are reversed, yeah.
Okay, say that.
These are legal fireworks. We
Yeah.
have all permits.
Permit. I bought it from Longs.
Yeah.
Like, how much money did you spend? He's
Yeah.
like, I didn't spend anything. You're a liar.
You're like,
Yeah, just because it's your stash doesn't mean
We
you-
had the same conversation. Isn't it funny? Well, I felt like
Classic.
now, 5 years into our real estate journey, I was the more risque one in the beginning while I was like, no, let's just go. We're going to do this. But now it's like our roles have completely reversed where
Yeah.
he's like, nope, let's go. And I'm
and you're like, wait.
I'm like, hey, wait, like we need this, we need that. Like, have you double checked that? It's so funny how that
Yeah.
all works out.
Yeah, and then so from there, I mean, we got our first duplex within like 2.5 months, and then in I want to say in like 6 months, I bought my first commercial property.
What?
Right. Yep.
Crazy.
And so same thing, like looking at the numbers and like, yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
sign me up for
Right,
it.
right.
What do I do next?
Yeah, like, but the good thing is you had people there to literally hold your hand through the whole thing.
Yeah. So CJ and Jasmine Calio, right? They're the owners, founders of WNN.
Yeah.
So although they held my hand, they also allowed me to kind of
Do it on your
do it
own.
on my
Fall
own,
through
right?
it. Yeah.
And like now when I have, concerns about a deal, I'll be like, hey, this is what the problem is, and then I'm actually like answering my own questions, right? Like talking to myself through it.
Yeah.
So
Right.
what'd you call me?
Yeah.
I just wanted
I
somebody.
needed you to hear,
I need-
listen to me talk so I can talk myself through it.
Like you already solved your problem. Like I know, but I just wanted to say it out
Yeah.
loud
Yeah.
to
Thank
somebody.
you.
That's my learning process.
Like, oh, I already answered my own question. Okay, thanks for
Bye.
taking the time. Yeah, and
That's so
then
good.
so 6 months I got our duplex and then our commercial property. And then we're still doing things here, like
Yeah.
doing what I thought I knew at the time, right? Like we JV'd with some partners. So Zaylin, right? You guys
Yeah.
work with Zaylin
Yep.
and
Yeah,
Warren. We met through a networking event, and I think we went to like Nico's.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
we were
Fish
there for
market.
the first happy hour, and then we ran into like the second happy hour the whole day,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Drinking.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we're looking for a project manager. And I was like, okay, but we don't know if we want this deal. I said, I'll project manage and you guys just do your
Yeah.
whatever, and then we'll split.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
They're like, really? That's it? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. Like, what does a partnership look like? This is exactly what a partnership looks like.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
let's get drunk, get some beers, and make it happen.
And we make it happen. We figure it out.
The name of the game is always just making it happen. But you can't do business with people that you don't enjoy being around.
No, yeah. So
You
if you
don't
can sit
even-
with me at Nico's for like 6
For
hours,
6 hours, and we can probably work
and I
a
don't go
project
crazy
together.
and want to punch you in your face after,
Then
we're good.
We're good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
That's
that's awesome.
Dude, okay, there's like so much to unpack there though.
Yeah, I mean, that's why thinking about like how'd
Yeah.
I get here?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I'd like,
I know. Well,
kind
you
of-
just did.
yeah,
You just did.
I was like, can I swear on here?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Do you know me?
I'm like,
Everyone asks
like,
that.
how did I get here? And like, I think everything growing up, I was just like, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
Right?
kinda
Got
how
me
I
in
was.
trouble
Yeah,
sometimes, but
yeah,
like, look,
yeah.
I'm here. And Deals Aloha podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Dude,
that's
it's-
so cool.
I couldn't agree with that more. I feel like I'm so glad that I'm not an overthinker, or I wasn't back then. I think I've put a couple layers of overthinking on me now because I have more to lose now than I did. But not overthinking, getting a thin, probably a very thin foundation, and then just taking massive, crazy action has
Yes.
gotten me to where I am today. And if I sat there in like that analysis paralysis and like overthought and sat in fear, dude, I wouldn't have been anywhere
Yeah.
close to where I am today.
Exactly. I mean, we see it, right? When we host networking and like
Yeah.
people who came to your first meetup
Yeah.
and then they came to
To
your
where
last
they are
meetup, but
now.
like,
yeah.
oh, what have you done? Like, oh, I'm still trying to figure it out.
Still
Yeah.
learning.
Still learning.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just going. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Same,
don't know.
but I'm just going. Yeah, but you do little check-ins with yourself. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
you said that you and your husband just did your goals, and like there's some type of plan in place.
Yes.
But it's just taking the next step and not having
Definitely.
all the information, but knowing that you'll find the information when you need it.
And then like just the community, right? People were learning
Totally.
about in our
Yeah.
networking, our meetups, and then just my community at WNN. I
Yeah.
think I have a very solid foundation of investors to lean on, and as well
Totally.
as my family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of times, things that are like good qualities in you can be a blessing and a curse, right? So you mentioned that, right? And I think you also have like a good head on your shoulders, because I don't want people to go out there and just start doing every single thing that they want to do, right? Because it does actually, like, yes, the inhibition is there, and you're down to do it when you know you want something, but it's because you're a smart person. Like you're
Well-
not taking
Yeah.
you're not taking the
I'm not
craziest
saying
risks in the
go
world.
to the Midwest by yourself and go buy a $3 million property by
No.
yourself.
Right,
You went, the first thing you said, you bought your house, then you started renting it out, not knowing that that's what you're doing. But then you said that you read the Burr book.
Yes.
Where did you even know that how did you find the Burr book?
So I knew so when we bought our first house, I told my husband just blindly, like, my goal, right? Okay, every 3 years we're gonna buy a house, and my strategy was buy the house, sit in it for 2 years, and then rent it
Rent.
out, right? So
Yeah,
that was my
yeah.
thought process. So every 3 years, and he was like, "What? Well, I just wanna stay in one place, right? I just wanna build our family here." I'm like, "No, like I'm trying to
I'm trying to create
create
wealth
something,
here.
right?"
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
the way that I thought I should do it, or I could do it at that time.
Right, right,
So
right.
the joke, and he wants like a lot of kids, right? So the joke was,
Yeah.
okay, for every house we buy, then you can have a kid.
There you
and
go.
then we got into real estate. I said, whoa, no, I changed my mind. I changed my mind.
I'm trying to have like
We're buying a lot of
here.
freaking houses. We're buying a ton of houses.
No. I changed my mind. No, we can't do that.
So where do you think that came from? That
real
that
estate
urge,
was in you somewhere.
Yeah, like where did that urge to like want more and do more? Because as like local kids and families growing up, a lot of us aren't like that way. We're not programmed to even
We're
know
not
those
even local
possibilities.
kids. It's society.
Yeah, I guess in general.
But local people too. I feel like we're even more sheltered.
Yeah. So like my husband, like these are my like so we did our vision and goals, right? And he's like he hates like sitting down and like, just talking about the goals. He's like, you're only gonna tell me my goal is wrong. My vision is wrong. Right? And then I'm like, well, we have to sit down. And I'm probably like not the best person to help him with his real estate goals, right? Because I'm just like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Like,
There's
you
a
know,
better way.
There's a better way, right? Like, it's just like everything else.
And the better way is my way.
Yeah. And he's like, I don't fold swaddles because you hate the way I fold them. I don't fold towels because I'm like, so you're not going to do anything? So that's kind of like what our real estate is like. So you're not going to do anything because you're going to do it wrong? But yeah, so his mentality was like, we just buy a house, right? And that was good enough.
Yeah.
And so in the beginning, I pushed a lot. I pushed.
Yeah.
And then kind of my mentors are like, maybe lay off a little bit. Let him find his way. And if, real estate is what he wants to pursue by, purchasing properties, let it be that.
Yeah.
But if it's just supporting you when you need support, then that's good too.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of how we started. Like he was like, okay, sure, let's do the mentorship. And then he fell off. And then now he's kind of like coming back on. But yeah, so just in our own household, right? Different mentalities.
Totally.
And for me growing up, I would say a lot of tough love. So I'm the oldest of 8.
Oh.
So I know you guys know
big
Lacey,
family.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm the oldest. Lacey's number 4, and the baby is 9 years old.
Wow.
So there's like a
Big gap.
huge
Huge
gap.
Yeah,
gap.
huge gap.
Yeah, so we're Filipino, so my mom and dad, they got down. But yeah, so and growing up, I had to grow up fast. So at one point, my mom was working 3 jobs. My dad was working 2. So there was really no parent at home. I was the parent, right?
Yeah.
Taking the kids to their sports, being the face, like in front of the counselors and stuff.
Wow.
And so like we talk about good and bad. One of my things that my dad would say was like, oh, money is just money. You can always make some more, right?
Yeah.
So even though we grew up in a time of struggle, he didn't make us feel like we were struggling, right?
Yeah.
Like, we ate a lot of Vienna sausage.
Yeah.
I will not touch Vienna,
Vienna
sausage
sausage now.
today. Yeah. But we ate a lot of Vienna sausage. We struggled.
Yeah.
And he always pushed me to like be the best, be the best,
Love
be the
that.
best, be the best. And so playing sports, everything that we did, he always pushed. And people see that the crazy parent, right, at the games nowadays. Like my dad was worse than the crazy parent.
Yeah.
He would come to the soccer games with a bucket truck, right, and so he could film to show
No
me
way.
all
That's
of my
awesome.
mistakes, right? So he's like, look, you missed this goal. I'm like, Dad, I just scored 3 goals, dude.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like, yeah, but look, you could have had 5. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's insane.
Yeah.
But just that mentality, like pushing.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta want more. And he groomed me to not need a man when I got older. He's like, you're doing all of this. So
Yeah.
Yep.
because both of my parents worked a lot, he was like the handyman of all trades. And I was the oldest. So I'm like carrying up shingles on a ladder, like to the house to do roofing, right? Like, so now they have the nice conveyor belt. Like, no, I was the conveyor belt.
Yeah.
Holding the shingles,
Yeah.
like walking up the ladder, digging trenches to put in
That's
sprinkler
crazy.
systems,
Wow.
Yeah.
painting, like
Yeah.
all that stuff that I hated, right? But now that allowed me to,
It's applicable to what you do
right?
today.
Like looking at this stuff like, what? That's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how now. Yeah.
Hold on.
Isn't it crazy how life comes full circle? And
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff the negative things that we've gone through as kids
Or,
in our
or that
development.
we may have perceived to be negative, you
But
know?
they don't have to be. They don't have to deter us as adults. We can use the bits and pieces to, be a better version as an adult.
Yeah,
And,
take what you've learned, whether it was the bad things or the good
Exactly.
things, and what are you gonna do with it?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's a local thing too, because my dad was the same way. Like
What?
I would literally score like 3 goals at a soccer game, and my dad was pointing out the 3
one
things that I
thing.
did wrong,
Yeah.
and I'm like, Dad, why aren't you telling me I did a good job? Like but when you look back on it, like I see how much it helped me, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? In hindsight, in that moment, it's a little bit hard, you know, but I think that might just be a
local father thing.
yeah. My dad was exactly the same way.
Yeah, so just being crazy growing up, like push yourself, like you're not like no pain, no gain. Like
Yeah,
No
that's what-
pain,
yeah.
no gain. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I remember I had like a scout coming out to watch me, and I was running a fever. He's like,
shit.
"You gotta play. You gotta play." I'm like, "Oh my god!" I think our game was like at 3 p.m. running around with a fever, right? And at the end of the game, he's like, "How you doing?" Like that was his
Like,
check in.
I think you need to take me to the ER, but I'm okay.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you did good. You did pretty good. Like, thanks, Dad. I need some meds right now. I need
Yeah.
ice bath. Thank you."
Yeah. I mean, so it instilled in you hard work. It instilled in you like a drive to always like achieve whatever it is was in front of you and almost like dominate it.
Yeah,
Like conquer.
Yeah,
like
so-
success is the only option.
yeah. If I'm gonna bet on somebody, I'm gonna bet on
I mean,
myself.
yeah.
Which has not gone all very well at Vegas sometimes. Oh, bet on myself. Bet on myself. Shoot.
It can be good and bad. I feel like I have a lot of the same characteristics, and that really it caused us to buck in the beginning of our marriage, though, because such a strong, dominant personality in a marriage, and like not letting the man take care of you because you got it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
But we had to
Yeah.
figure that out, and I think now it's a lot better. But a lot of therapy
Yeah.
and crying has gotten me here.
Fights.
Yeah. Like me and my husband, same. Like we're in a much better place, but we went
Yeah.
through like we always joke. He jokes about it. I'm like, I don't think that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to leave you.
Yeah. Like you don't understand.
You don't understand at all.
I love that. Like I said, we're aligned in a lot of ways. So you found the Burr book, and then you found WNN from friends, and that's a testament of the local community and how everybody knows everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I haven't talked to Blaze since like way back. I know he's
Yeah.
in the air guard.
Yeah.
We ran into each other like once, like maybe back in like 2016 or something like that.
Yeah.
And they, oh hi, how you doing? Just
Yeah.
you know, in passing.
passing, yeah.
And then we just kind of kept in touch on Facebook.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Crazy.
I love that. So why WNN? Obviously, Blaze introduced you, but like, what did you really like about that program? Was it that there were like local people here doing it? Like, what drew you? Where you like felt at home in that place? Because now you're an advisor. You're still super plugged into that community.
Yes. So, I think maybe it's a Hawaii thing too, right? Like everything's a scam.
Oh, yeah.
my gosh,
Everything's
yeah.
a scam,
Yep,
right?
Yeah.
100%.
And if you Google, right, like, oh, real estate mentorships, now your phone knows, right? So now it's just popping all kinds
Yep,
of ads on
everything
it.
up.
Yeah.
And the one thing that drew me in was it was local people doing what I wanted to do,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
I could see them.
There's power
Right,
in
yeah.
that.
You
And
could
I could-
touch them.
yeah.
You could sit down face to face with
Exactly.
them.
That's what got me.
Yeah.
And at that point, I mean, I knew Blaze was doing it, right?
Yeah.
And knowing Blaze from, you know, Hunabata time, like,
Yeah.
oh, he's smart.
If
Like,
he can do it, I
Right,
can.
right,
no,
right.
no
Yeah.
one's gonna scam Blaze. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's he's an analyst, right? Like,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
he's definitely analyzed this
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
He's put some thought into this
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I'm like, if Blaze did it and he has two local people, okay,
Yeah.
sign me up. I'm in.
I can do
Yeah,
it too.
yeah.
And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have the cash flow. And because I read the Burr book, that's what WNN Properties is, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Investing in out-of-state rentals at cash flow
Yeah.
using the Burr.
Yep,
And it just kind of lined up
It
that
all
way.
lined up. Yeah.
And then being a part of the real estate community now I was like, okay, there's Sub2, there's
Yeah.
Future Flipper, there's all
There's
these things.
It's
and
crazy the evolution.
yeah,
in the
there's
last
so
couple
many,
years.
but it's still,
No.
it's still, I still know that my goals align with WNN.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally,
And at that time,
totally.
my goals were like, I want one property. If I have one property this year, like, oh, I hit it.
You
Yeah.
did
Right?
it.
Yeah, I did it.
I made it.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. And now look at you.
Now we're
Right?
not negative cash flowing
Yeah,
$40.
like, now I'm just like rocking it up in the bank account.
Yeah. Now what are my goals now? It's funny
I
how
love it.
how that evolves over time. But
I know.
were you always like a believer in education? Because I mean, your story, you were taking massive action while at the same time getting educated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we touched on it a little bit, but we see all too often people that get stuck in the education side with no action. You know what I mean? So were you always a firm believer in education, or how did you have the know-it-all to be like, oh, I need to maybe join a mentorship or something?
So for the education part, I just learned enough to take me to the next step. And with WNN, what was super helpful, and I'm so glad that I joined WNN, was for the one-on-one accountability. So I know we're all adults and, you know, you have responsibilities, but if somebody doesn't tell me, like, call me out on my own bullshit,
Totally.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm probably not going to do it. So in the beginning, there were a few times where, like, did you accomplish your week's homework? And the week's homework is literally homework that I assigned to myself.
Yeah.
Right? Like, did you analyze those properties you said?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't get to it. How come? Well, there was a party, and then I was hungover,
Yeah.
and I'm getting older, so it takes me 3 days to recover. So
Yeah.
I really didn't do anything. Right?
Yeah.
So a couple of weekends of that, right? And then I was like, oh my God, okay, I'm paying for this mentorship. Like, there's someone to hold me accountable.
I
Do
need
what
to
I
do
say
it.
I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much like the beginning. It was kind of felt like homework, and then after that, it turned into like therapy sessions, right?
Yeah.
Like talking through my own deals, my own fears.
Yeah.
And that's what helped me. Not so much reading all the books
Material,
or listening
yeah.
to all the podcasts. Like, I try to like listen to the podcast, right? But sometimes in the car as mom, I just want silence. Like,
Yeah.
I don't listen to anything.
Yeah.
Amen, sister.
Yeah. Totally.
I don't want to hear
Or
anything.
really loud music, so I hear nothing else.
Yeah. So for me, WNN offered one-on-one accountability, and that was like my one call every single week. And I planned when I wanted the call. I gave myself my own homework, right? What I needed to accomplish my own individual goals,
Right.
and then it just changed. And I just needed that person to talk to. And some people would say, "Oh, you paid that much for a therapy session?" Like, dude,
It was worth every
it was
penny.
worth every penny, and I
Yeah.
would do it
100%.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like now, WNN has branched out to different options, right? But not all the options include that one-on-one.
The one-on-one
Yeah.
coaching.
Yeah. So for
Yeah.
me, I'm like, Matt, you know which one is worth it? The expensive one
That
that has the one-on-one mentorship.
Yep.
Right.
All the other ones, you can do it on your own.
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
you can go read the book, you can go bigger pockets,
Yep.
go
Yeah.
networking. But if no one's holding you accountable, then are you really gonna do it? And
Yeah.
that's what I needed. I need accountability.
It's so
Dude,
true.
Yeah, so true. I think everybody needs that one-on-one accountability. Like, if you really get truthful with yourself, because the first mentorship we joined was Fortune Builders. And we learned a lot of like good principles and foundations from Fortune Builders, but we kind of felt like after our time was over, we were just kicked out
On your
and like
own.
out on the island by yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like, go figure it out now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go figure it out. And
Yeah.
and when you have somebody that is holding you accountable one-on-one that you can reach out to consistently, it's such a big help. It helps so much.
Well, it also goes back to the power of having people in your backyard on the same island that have similar experiences, local people, proof that they did it and you can do it too. There's so much power in that because all these other mentorships like Fortune Builders, they're in San Diego, like Future Flipper, they're in Vegas, like Sub 2, they're in Arizona, and they're amazing, 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 the information that you get. And they all have their ways where you can connect, but it's virtual.
Yeah.
Or a group, right? Group settings.
Or
Yep.
group settings. So like having somebody physically here that grew up in that city, and you know this person and they did it. They have proof of concept. There's so much power in that, and I feel like a lot of local people are yearning for that.
Yeah, and then I joke around with like the guys, right? Like, oh, come on, uncle, right? Like, you can joke around with your fellow investors, right?
Yeah.
Advisors, like, okay, it's so much more personable.
Totally.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys we're on the same wavelength, you know? Yeah, I love that. Okay, so you bought a duplex. You just went all in. You bought a duplex.
Let's talk about that duplex. How
Okay.
did you find that duplex? Like, how did you fund it? All the things. How
all
was that
the
deal?
things.
All the things.
Yeah.
So for that time, I was like analyzing deals, and a part of the WNN community, right? You're on like a Trello board, right? And so you have your own agent, but then they'll post up
opportunities.
properties, right? Like, hey, anybody interested in this? And so I looked at it. One of them that came up as like, anyone interested?
Right.
And then I analyzed it, and I was like, okay, looks like a
Yes.
good deal. Like, the numbers work.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they're like, okay, so how are we gonna do this? And like, cash. I'm like, what? Cash?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And so
I know no more of that
I
cash.
know, I'm like, okay, how can you get $100,000? So my duplex was, I think it was like 115, but then we brought it down to 100.
Nice.
Okay.
So, like, how can I raise $100,000? Right, financing, do all the different ways you can do it. But
Yeah.
what I did was I raised the money,
Private
and
money.
at this time I just started. Right, so 2 months into real estate investing, and I had like maybe 2 posts, like just trying to,
Right.
like, hey guys, check
Yeah.
me out. I'm
Yeah.
buying stuff.
I'm an investor. I'm,
I'm a real
trying to
estate
do
investor.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I just probably just changed my bio right the
Yeah.
same day, and
Yeah,
now
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
raising 100,000.
It's
So,
crazy.
and that was my hardest 100,000
That you ever
to raise.
raised.
Yeah, like no credibility. I only
Yeah.
had what I had
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
before my mentorship, and I like just talked about it all the time.
All the time.
Right? You like texted people like this
Yeah.
long paragraph, like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
I'm an investor. This is what I do. This is their options. This is like what it's about.
Yeah.
Right.
And I just like texted, I called, and at that time, I think I had a whole bunch of lenders to make my $100,000.
Yeah.
Right? It was
Yeah.
like
Yeah. It was-
10,000,
20
20,000,
here.
like 5,000.
Yeah. Like,
And I have
I'll
a
be like,
friend.
I'll take it.
Yeah, my friend. He's like, oh, I don't have a lot of money, but I'll invest with you. I was like, okay, what you got? She goes,
Yeah.
I have 1,000.
Yeah.
I'm laughing. I'm like, you know what? Sure.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah. Let's go.
like, you believe in me. Like, you don't have a lot of money, right? But
but that-
$1,000 is a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Totally.
And she's like, okay, here's your check.
Yeah.
I said, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
That's crazy though. That yeah.
Yeah, so that raised 100,000, and it was like because I didn't know what private money like relationship looked like on my
Right.
first
Right.
deal.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
just did everything and anything that I could. If you're all about investing in me, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, let's do the promissory note. Let's
Yep. Whatever you need. to make
whatever
this
I
work.
needed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's that was my mentality on doing that first deal. Like, anything I had to do.
But that's
Yeah.
the right mentality. That's what you got to have when
Right?
you do your first deal.
Oh,
is
yeah.
whatever it takes.
Yeah, and so like throughout my journey, right, people ask me about it. I'm like, yeah, I took whatever I could get. Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I would never take that. I would never take that. Like, well, you don't have to take it. I took it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But I did.
Good for you. Yeah.
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 I did what I had to do
Yeah.
to get that $100,000 of other people's money.
I
Right.
love
With no
that.
experience, this is my first deal.
Yeah.
Like,
Totally.
And then the clock is ticking too.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like
and because it's a cash offer, right? You don't get 30 days.
no.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
I think I got like 15 days.
yeah.
You raised $100,000 in
Yeah.
15 days
Yes.
with no experience.
No experience. And I
That's
just went through
awesome.
the text messages.
Yo, that's huge.
Yeah, and it was coming so close to the end, and I think I was short a little bit. I was like, oh my God, I can't do it. And reaching back to my mentors, right? Like, what can't you do? Why? Have you reached out to this many people,
Yeah.
right? You texted them. How about call them?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay, I changed my strategy. And I just kept pushing. And then when it was that day, like, the money was there, and I was wiring $100,000 to
crazy.
Missouri.
That's
That was the next
crazy.
step, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'm
Now I
wiring
need to send
$100,000.
$100,000.
to-
Yeah.
yeah.
Heavy.
And then it's like, okay. And my husband's like, oh, did you do it?
Yeah.
Or did we do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it, hon.
We did it.
We did it, babe. Thanks. He's like,
I
oh,
love
so
that.
cool. Tag me on the post.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Okay, so you wired $100,000. What happened next? You
Yeah.
go-
And so for this property, what I liked about it was still part of the burr, but
Yeah.
call it like a hybrid burr. So I already had tenants in it. It was already performing.
Nice.
So the good thing was that the $100,000 I raised was to purchase the property. So I still had time to get money together for any like maintenance or
Right.
things that need to be repaired.
Yeah, yeah.
But I already had tenants in there,
So
right?
cash flow immediately,
from one
day
day,
one.
day one, cash flow. They were on month-to-month leases.
Nice.
So using my property manager, right? We just restructured it, got them on the year leases, bumped it up. So there is like $400 was their rent.
Wow.
$400 for a
No
2-bedroom, 1 bath with a yard and like street parking and 2 parkings in front of their like
Wow.
part of the duplex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
from there, and I couldn't just jack up the rent
Like
like
tons.
right.
No.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
could
they
have
would-
got like $800 if I kicked him out fix it up and put somebody inside, right?
Yeah.
So, but that wasn't the strategy with this property. It was already performing.
Yeah.
Yes, it was under market rent.
Be
but-
conservative. Yeah.
like, okay, let's just bump it up. Like, what do you, working with the PM, like, what do they think that they can afford to still be comfortable? And these tenants were there for like 10, 15
Wow,
years.
long time.
Right. So I didn't want to be that person and be like, oh, get out. I want my max $800.
Right.
So we just bumped it up, and then we let them know, okay, every year we are going to bump up the rent, but it's not, I'm not going to jump you to market rent.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay.
They were grateful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is there anything else that needs to be fixed or addressed? And then I think I had like one of the window ACs like wasn't working, so we like fixed that. And some other smaller things.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just working with the tenants and not being greedy, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Yeah.
what can I do to help you?
Yeah.
Because if I kicked them out, yeah, I could have got $800, but when?
Right.
When would I
Right.
have got? What
Yeah.
would I have to do?
There are a
to,
lot of steps
In
for that to
between
happen,
that,
right?
Yeah. It's
They're
not
like-
like that.
Like right now, if I rented it out, I think they told me I could get maybe like 600, right? But then I would have to renovate, right?
Right.
Make it look nicer so I
Yeah.
could get that bump in rent.
Right.
And I was like, just leave it.
Yeah.
Leave it as it is. I'll fix it when it pops up. And if we're increasing the rent, like I was already having cash flow, right?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that I was like, I just kind of looked at it that way. Like if I was a tenant and I lived there for 10, 15 years.
How would I want to
Yeah.
be treated?
And at the same time, on my end, like, yes, I could get 800, but is that going to take me 6 months to like renovate? And what if I
Yep.
whack a wall down and then like all my plumbing's messed up and then
Right.
now I'm just
Yep.
raising money to fix it.
Totally.
No tenants in the building.
Yeah.
No
Right.
cash flow.
No
coming
cash
in.
cash
flow.
flow.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, because I wanted to be greedy for extra.
Right.
Love that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then how did you refinance it? How did that work? Or did you refinance it?
No, so
Okay.
for that property, I was transitioning into the commercial space, and I needed a little bit extra cash to get it to close. And I reached out to my WN communities, a newer investor. I'm like, hey, this is what I have.
Yeah.
Right. Anybody want this? I need cash.
Yep.
Right. And so we worked out a deal. I got 100 and some. So I bought it for 100. I think I sold it for like 130.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I got more cash,
Extra.
and
Right.
then I pushed it over
Into the
Nice.
commercial deal.
into the commercial deal.
Nice.
Wow.
So-
Okay. So why commercial? Why commercial?
So like a lot of things that I do, it sounds so cool. So I was like, yes, sign me up. I'll do it. Like, you want to join the army? Yeah, sure. Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Like, let's do it. So it's like commercial. I mean, seriously though, we ran the numbers, right? So at that time, I did my first Kansas City trip.
Okay.
We walked a bunch of properties, residential and commercial, and looking at the commercial numbers, there was our agents and our broker there, and then of course with the WNN team,
The crew, yeah.
and we had the TV in the conference room at the hotel and just running the deals. And this deal came up, like, who wants this? And then I was looking at the numbers, I'm like,
Wow.
wow, that's so much money. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
And so CJ was like looking at everyone, is like, who wants it? Because if nobody's going to grab it, I'm going to grab it.
Right.
And I'm like thinking in my head, like, how am I going to raise that money?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll figure it out.
I'll do it. Yeah.
I'll take it. And he looks at me like, and I'm like, and that's pretty much like how I
Transition to
transition
commercial.
to commercial. Like
so
we had
funny.
the team. Our agents are amazing. Like they're constantly sending me deals, right? So it's not like the MLS,
Yeah.
right? You have the LoopNet and Crexy. That's kind of like the Zillow,
Commercial
Redfin,
side,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just sending deals. They work a lot with other brokers, right? With upcoming properties. So
Right.
they're just constantly posting it to like our Trello page.
Yeah.
And every day there's new deals.
Nice.
And they do a portion of the analysis, right? They run rough numbers for us. So it's not like they're just sending me, oh, check out this deal.
Yeah.
Hey, check out this deal. These are numbers that
Preliminary
we ran,
numbers,
right?
yeah.
So then we'll go over, and check it again and, adjust where it's needed.
Yeah.
But like just trusting our agent, and our mortgage broker was there. Like, okay, I could probably get you a loan for this at this interest rate. And at that time, I think they're like, yeah, like 4.8 is like the interest rate. I know it's kind of high,
Yeah.
right? And like now it's like
That's
I'll
a great
take it.
interest rate. Yes,
I'll
please.
take
4.8.
Yeah, and my mortgage broker was able to actually bring our interest down to like 3.5 right on my
Wow.
first deal. So
Wow.
working with commercial lenders, like they ask for a bio, they want to know about me as an investor, about my family, what we're about, why
Yeah.
we're investing in Kansas City.
Wow.
You don't get that on the residential side with lenders,
No.
right? Just strictly like, hey, what's
Here
your
it-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you qualify or not?
yeah.
That's it.
So we like wrote our story. Our mortgage broker like
Wow.
he worked like we pay him a 1%, right? And I'm like, that was so worth it. Like I don't know any commercial lenders.
Yeah.
And so he like called everyone like across the United States, like, hey, this is a deal. 3.5%. And I think I came in with 20% of the down.
Nice.
Right. Yeah. So now it's like you're even giving more, like 25, 30% just to get into a good deal because of the way the market shifted.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And how did you fund that one? The 20%. Did you raise?
I raised-
Or you used your own?
I wish I had that money.
Yeah.
I know people think real estate investors are loaded with cash,
Yeah,
right?
like,
Because we just buy all this stuff.
I have no money. My husband's like, can you bring me lunch? I'm like, no, and you better not spend money. We can't afford a $10 plate lunch. But yeah, so we sold our Waianae house and we did a 1031 exchange with the
Nice.
Waianae house, right? So at that time it was being rented. And so as I'm running numbers on the commercial deal, right? I'm like, okay, I could offload my Waianae property that's giving me negative $40,
Yeah.
right? And put it into this commercial that's giving me way more cash flow.
Yeah.
Right,
Like at this
right.
point, if this property gave me $1, that's way better.
Way better than
Better
what I
than
got.
what I have
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, timeline. Okay, I gotta go home. I gotta send them their not their eviction notice, but like
Yeah.
notice of non-renewal kind
Yeah.
of
Yep.
thing, right?
Yep.
So work on that. Then I had to go in and see what the property looked like,
Mm-hmm.
and then rehab anything that needed to be done,
Right.
And then get onto the market, and then make sure we close
Yep.
before I can
So close on this one.
Close on this
Yeah.
one, right? So
Stress.
we put in our offer in Kansas City, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then our closing date was like 60 days. 60 days later, right? So it's a little bit longer. So
Yeah.
30 days of your due diligence, right?
diligence.
And then 30
Yeah.
days like the bank works
Yeah.
their numbers.
All the
Underwriting.
financing
Yeah.
stuff.
So I came home, like notice of non-renewal. We went there to check out the home. Oh,
Really?
it was so
It was
bad. Like
bad.
it was so bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
It every single door, they punched it through.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh my
and
gosh.
every crevice of the house, there was the German roaches everywhere.
Oh, those roaches
None
are gnarly.
of
Yeah.
none of the appliances worked.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like
But they were paying their rent.
they were paying their rent, right?
Wow,
so
that's so
they didn't
crazy.
even like blink. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
during COVID, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone's having issues with their tenants not
You're like,
paying.
I'm,
Yep.
Like,
I'm
hold on,
happy.
they're paying it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we walked in and it was like, so Waianae is already dry, right? So our grass at that when we moved out, it was green, right?
Right.
When we got there,
Greenish.
it was like
Dead.
dead.
Gone.
It was just dirt, like,
Dirt.
and it was like holes everywhere. There was
Wow.
abandoned cars in the
In the yard.
in the yard.
Wow.
What else? Like we had an AC unit, and I don't know what they did with it, but it was like smashed in, and it just leaked. Like
no
through
way.
the drywall into the carpet. The carpet looked brown, like the cement, like at parks, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's a brown color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My carpet
That was your carpet
my
color?
carpet color was brown. It was so
Oh my
nasty.
gosh.
And they had a baby in there, like just with diapers, like
So
running around.
sad.
I know. It's crazy.
Oh my God. Like I didn't even want to
Yeah.
walk in with no slippers.
Yeah.
And at that time, Lacey, the Makai realtor, right? This was her first home that
Oh,
she
yeah.
had
She's gonna
to
sell.
I
I remember
this.
this house because we were working on a house on Farrington Highway.
Oh yes.
When
good
you
job.
guys were
We were
selling
watching
that
it,
one,
and they were like, what is it
and we're
gonna sell for?
watching
What is it gonna
yours,
sell for?
and you guys, I mean, you guys renovated it like it came out
Super-
cherry.
No,
so
It was all hands on deck.
Was it you
Yeah.
guys?
It was me, my husband,
Oh
like,
my
and
God.
the day that they're supposed to get out, we show up there, and I was like, "Please be moved out," because my husband is aggro, like he
Yeah.
does not play with this, right?
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
go in, and they're still hanging out
Yeah.
in my carport. They're like, "Technically, we have till 12 p.m. Like,
You're like,
no,
Oh
my
my
goodness.
so
Yeah.
what?
Right. And so I told my husband, like, we're walking there, like my family. Right.
Yeah.
So there's 8 of us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the other house, right.
Yeah.
So we're walking. And then he's like, oh, there's mother. And I was like, just walk straight into the house.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Walk straight into the house,
Yeah.
go to the back room and start taking the carpet out.
Yeah.
And he's there and like we're just cutting it. The carpet's all nasty, right? So like my brothers and sisters were there like ripping it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, thanks guys. Everybody got some tasty freeze. I got some burgers and drinks coming. And they're still hanging out in the carport.
Wow.
Right. And so one of the guys, he wasn't all there. He's just staring in the window at my husband. I'm like, oh,
Stop
my
doing
Yeah.
that now.
and he's, my husband's like, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna false him.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna end up in jail.
Right.
And at this point, I need money to renovate this house. So you're
Yeah.
gonna be sitting there for a long
I will
time.
not
Right.
bail you out.
There's 2 options. Bail you out or fix this house. I'm fixing
I
the
gotta
house.
fix this house.
Yeah.
He's like, oh,
I've seen your husband's tall
Yeah.
too, like this one.
and
Yeah.
he's just
Yeah.
doesn't have any patience. The only person he probably has patience for is me.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're there like, I'm stressed out, right? Because we have to renovate everything, like
Yeah.
drywall,
Yeah.
carpet, everything. The only thing that we didn't have to do was the cabinets. But I still had the German roaches, right?
So you had to
Yeah, you
get
gotta
a
get all
so-
of
pest
those
control
out.
in
yeah,
there.
pest
Yeah.
control. Like, it was just
It was a
headache
lot.
after headache
Oh
after
yeah.
headache.
So you did that, and how fast?
I think, like, I want to say like a good 2 weeks. Like we just did. This
Dang.
includes the
Crazy.
yard.
Yeah. Wow.
Till the yard, everything to like just get all the
Yeah.
nasty dirt
Yeah.
out.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so like 2 weeks, and then this because the roaches just kept dying, right? So like they don't just die.
No.
Yeah.
It's
No.
a process.
It's
Yeah.
a long
right.
process.
So we're trying
yeah.
to like clean up,
Yeah.
like get like the cleaning people in, the stagers in.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it was just dying roaches everywhere.
Everywhere.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
it's
we're
crazy.
constantly like
Yeah.
cleaning
Picking
up.
them
I'm
up.
like, I know they're dying.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
At this point, I'm like, oh my god, please no roaches during the showing.
I
Please,
know.
no
Gosh,
roaches
The
during
worst.
the
I
showing.
know. And some people don't understand.
Yeah,
Like,
don't worry,
it's-
I disclosed that.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but some people just don't get it. Like roaches are normal here,
Yeah.
and it's a process to kill them. You know, and it
Yeah.
doesn't mean that the house is shit. Okay, it's just Hawaii.
Yeah, it is. Right. So I think it was like 2 or so weeks to like renovate everything. And then in between the cleaning and the staging and then getting people to
Yep.
come, right,
Yeah.
look at the house.
Yeah.
And then making sure we close on time.
Yeah.
And so when it came to the J1 inspection, right, I didn't know that the microwave wasn't working, right? Because
Oh, okay.
the but like
Yeah.
The thing was on?
It was on,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
but
totally.
it wasn't heating up anything.
Oh.
Right, so that and like some smaller stuff.
Yeah.
And I told Lacey, I said, just credit them. I don't want to go in and change it. Just
Yeah.
credit.
Yeah.
Credit.
Yeah.
Like my number stays the same, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
get what they get. They get it fixed, and you know,
Yeah.
they're like, no, they want it fixed. I'm like, oh
my
my god.
gosh.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but we want the microwave to be changed by a professional, right?
Oh, no way.
And so Lacey's like, they want a professional. I said,
I am a
no,
professional.
I'm like, do you want me to look up professional microwave installer?
I know. What
Like,
does that mean?
Yeah.
So you just gotta go to Best Buy. You gotta order them. You gotta pay for the install.
Right? I'm like, she's like, I don't know. It has to be, they want like a professional. I'm like, oh my God.
Handyman.
Yeah, so I had my friend who was checking something electrical.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, help me put this in.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and try
"Hey."
sign this paper real quick.
And then like when I'm doing things, Lacey's like rolling her eyes at me, like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm not lying. The
Yeah.
professional helped me do
He's
it.
right here. He made sure it happened correctly and accurately. Yeah.
That's classic.
Yeah. So like, and then they wanted an extension. I was like, oh my God, I don't have time for an extension.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we already had the 30 days, and then they had the like
One
two.
time unilateral. Yeah.
Yeah,
15
so-
days, 10 days. Yeah.
Yeah. So it extended.
Yeah.
And then by the time the money actually goes to my 1031, what's it called? Intermediary.
Intermediary,
yeah.
Right. It doesn't just happen like that, right?
Yeah, it
so
takes, yeah.
Yeah.
and we close like Hawaii closes later than the
Yeah.
mainland, right? So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
closed. We waited to
The
get
next.
funded to send it to the 1031, and then the 1031 has to send it to our escrow company.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that just like takes 1 week, and
Yeah.
I'm already like on the line. So I think in between getting it funded to closing, it was like 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
2 days. If anything went wrong,
You were screwed.
You
I
were
was
screwed.
Yeah.
So I'm so stressed. They're like, "How's the rehab going?" Like, "Oh my god." Like,
The
hurry
things
up.
that you put yourself through as an
Yeah.
investor to get a deal, but it was totally worth it, right?
Yeah, totally worth it. Like, I remember like doing it, and they're like, "Oh my god, this looks crappy." I'm like, "You know what? I don't need an A plus. I need a B plus.
Yeah.
Like, we need to close B plus. If
Yeah.
it's safe, it's good. Like,
Yeah.
It's good.
Let's-
Yeah.
Let's go.
Next-
On to
next-
the next
yeah.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and focus on this mirror being crooked. Like, we gotta go."
Right.
It does get to a certain point where perfectionism, I tell everybody, I'm in fuck it mode.
Yeah.
And that means just get it done and on to the next. I tell you all the time when
Yeah.
we're in like over timeline, over budget, I'm like, I'm in fuck it mode.
Yeah, let's
and it
go.
looks good because what looks good to us as investors, if you have a high standard, you're already above other people's standards. You know what I mean?
Like, they're not even looking at that.
Yeah.
Only I'm looking.
exactly. Okay, so tell me about that commercial deal. So you 1031'd into it, and like, what was that commercial property?
So this commercial property is office and medical space. It's 5 tenants.
Okay.
It's a pretty big property. I think it's like 16,000 square feet.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, so single story.
Yeah.
Beautiful building. It has Park University. So in Kansas City area, Park University is like one of the top 3 universities in that area.
Nice. Okay.
And it's like a satellite school.
Oh, okay.
So they take up a large portion of it. And then I have a State Farm insurance
Yep.
guy there.
Yeah.
I have a hospice and like hospice and like a nursing home. So
Yep.
it's like their admin, like
Oh.
their
Offices
their
are
home
there.
base over
Okay.
there. And then at that time I had 1 vacant space.
Okay.
Right. And so the vacant space, we eventually filled it this past year with the physical therapy
Nice.
office,
Nice.
right? So that's like the tenant mix. So office and medical.
Love
Wow.
that. So, I mean, for anybody that's like thinking about getting into commercial, what are some things that you would look at on a commercial
Yeah, what
deal?
makes it a good deal? You know what
Well,
I mean?
first, when you go to commercial, right, if you're used to working in the residential and it hurts to lose $10,000 in residential, when it comes to commercial, you add a 0 on there.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I'm not saying be okay with losing $100,000, but
Yeah.
my roof cost $100,000 to fix.
Wow.
Because
No
it's
way.
16,000
Yeah.
square feet or more of roof.
And it was like it wasn't regular shingles. It
Yeah.
was, I don't know what it's kind of like the curvy one.
Yeah.
What's that called?
Are
Almost like-
they clay?
Yeah, it kind of looks like a clay
Yeah,
roof.
yeah.
So it was installed wrong, and so it went into like the plywood.
Underneath,
Underneath,
the
right?
the subroof had to
Yeah,
get.
So you essentially didn't have a performing roof.
Yes.
Wow,
Right.
that's crazy.
And so, but we negotiated that. So,
Oh, good.
Our inspector Adam, he's actually going to be here on the 21st at our for real estate.
Oh,
Nice.
So
sick.
like he saw the roof. We also had our roofer who's
Uh-huh.
a part of our team as well,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Yeah, this roof is
Gone.
gone. Like you need a new roof." And he was like, "I'll quote you 95,000." I'm like, "What? 95,000? How am I gonna? I'm already.
Yeah.
I have to go raise like 500 something. Now I have
Right.
to raise another 100 for the roof."
Just the roof.
But
yeah.
because we negotiated and like my team is amazing, right? I got $100,000 credit for the roof.
Good.
Wow,
Right, so
that's
Amazing.
super
for the
cool.
new building and new roof.
Yeah.
Wow.
When we got into it.
Yeah.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah, so if you're coming into commercial,
You're playing with a lot more money.
yeah, so you can make a lot of money, but you can lose a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
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 So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the first thing.
Okay.
And for me, I'm glad I didn't do it alone. I already had an established team.
Yeah.
So my agents, my broker, my inspector, my roofer, those are people I already had in place before I even.
We're
Look
looking
at
at
that.
deals.
To the deal.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that would be.
So get experienced people that are already playing in the commercial
And
space.
so our inspector, he's the same one that we use for residential, and the roofer is the same one we use for residential.
Nice.
As well.
Yeah. I think that's something to hammer home is, and it's the same with residential, especially when you're virtual, is how important having a good team is, right?
Exactly.
Like we can't do it alone, but especially when you're virtual and you're living here and your properties are somewhere else, like you have to have people that you not only trust, but that do a good job. You know what I mean? So yeah, you gotta have that team. So I know WNN played a big role in having some of that structure there already. So who is exactly on that team?
As far as our WNN,
or just like who would you need in a commercial deal? I know you mentioned.
Yeah, so I have my commercial agent. So she's amazing. And then I have my mortgage broker that I use. So he helps me like analyze deals as well, right? Like he knows what kind of financing we can get, especially because we're into like $1 million deals, right?
Yeah.
So I need that experienced mortgage broker to help me run the numbers. What will banks lend to a rookie commercial?
Somebody like you. Yeah.
And then I have my roofer, I had my inspector, and my property manager. So property manager, very important during when you acquire that property. So we actually used him during due diligence. So he read through all of our leases. So it's not like a 2-page lease, right? No. Okay, like residential, like 4-bedroom, 3-bath, whatever. This is how much you pay. Right, pages of everything. What can go if this pipe bursts in this area? Who's responsible?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Right, like there's so many things, and a lot of it I was learning on the go, right? So I highlighted things. I don't even know if I highlighted the right thing, right? I'm just reading it like, oh my God. And then on top of lease agreements, there's options, right? So like addendums, right? It's like, here's the lease, here's what's changed, and here's what's going to change. So I'm just reading it, and a lot of it is just like foreign verbiage, right? I think during that time, I was reading the commercial inspection like book as I'm reading the leases.
Wow. Learning on the go.
So that's pretty much like my process of going I'm learning, I'm going, I know enough, and then leaning back on my WNN team. Like, hey, what if I had to pick the top 3 things out of this lease, what do I need to look for?
Yeah, that's good. Is it a benefit to buy a property that already has tenants in place when you're buying a commercial property, or is it better to start with a fresh slate where they're all vacant?
So for me, because I'm a newer commercial investor, it was beneficial for me because I already had the mortgage payments covered by having tenants in place. If I went in on the full value add, right, like I'm coming in with mortgage payments that are $15,000 on top of the large amount that I needed to raise, the large amount that I needed to raise to rehab, and then however long it takes to fill that space. And the average is like 12 to 18 months to fill in that space.
Wow.
And that's only to sign their lease agreement, right? But you could negotiate like, give me 6 more months. So let me make the space look a certain way. And then when I start having customers, then I'll pay rent, right? So it's 12 to 18 plus however long it takes them to negotiate the lease and then fix their space and then get customers. Right. So that's a long hold period.
Yeah.
Totally.
With $15,000 mortgage payments.
Like, I don't know where that's coming from.
So for me, because we had a vacant space, that was my small value add. Like, okay, this is how we can increase the performance of the building by getting someone in there, right? And filling. It was like a paper rehab, right? Just sign the paper and just sign the lease. And there we go. I just increased the income. I didn't have to know hammer and nail.
That seems like the best kind.
Right? Yeah. So that's
where you have an underperforming asset and you fully make it perform.
Yeah. And I didn't have to.
I want to do paper renovation.
I know. For real.
Yeah. And just that and renegotiating leases.
Current leases. Yeah.
And
so that's how you added all the value.
Yes, that. And then right now we're slowly working to have the tenants pay for the property tax portion, the insurance. So right now they're just paying for their own utilities and their base rent, right? So the previous owner he was the owner occupant. Not owner occupant, but he built the building and he was managing it himself.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So because you don't know things you don't know.
So it just wasn't performing as it should have been.
Yes. So it could have been way more.
Way more. Yeah.
So we read the leases and we have plans for each tenant on when it's going, their 1 year's coming up, right? When their lease is going to end and what we're going to do in order to increase the value of the property.
Wow.
Nice.
And that's without doing
like major anything.
Any major renovations or anything.
Because the property was in good condition. Like each unit, the building itself. That's great.
So for me, that was my strategy going in. Now a little bit more familiar and I can accept more risk, right? Like, okay, if I do a larger value add, what does that value add look like? Is it half vacant? Can I fill the other half can, those 3 tenants hold the mortgage for the entire building.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Right.
how much of a need is this extra space that needs to be occupied?
Yeah.
So you go into it and you look, and it's just about mitigating your risk, right?
Yes.
And with experience, you get a little more risky, right?
Yeah.
I think that's super cool.
I think that's natural progression of any investor in any asset class.
Yeah. So that was like, for me, like it was my first deal, right? So
Yeah.
seeing the spreadsheet, and I was like, wow, that's how much money like this one. So I think pro forma wise, it was. So when I mean pro forma, right, like at the highest dollar when we get it to fill that space,
What
the
numbers are gonna look like.
So I want to say that's like our year 1, year 2 pro forma. It was coming in at like 80,000 net.
Wow.
Right.
Cash flow.
Yes.
Yeah.
After net.
After you pay everything. After 80,000.
Nice. Right.
Of course, that's pro forma, right? So I still have to fill it. There's
And that's why you do commercial
Yeah,
real
because
estate.
then you look at residential and you're at like
and you think about it, you still do the same. You
It's
do
the
the
same-
same
things.
work,
Right.
right? You still have to raise the money, right? So at that time, I raised $100K to do a duplex, right? But if I raise $500,000 more, and now I'm in commercial, now I'm in this big, beautiful building that I didn't have to rehab any of the spaces, just
Right.
the roof, which was covered by the seller, right?
crazy.
Yeah.
So you've done residential and commercial. It's safe to say that you're just going for
You're
commercial
just
now,
gonna stick
or
with
what?
commercial.
Yeah, so I'm just sticking with. I know it takes longer, but the same amount of time it would take me to do one, like burr on a home, it's still like
Yeah.
It's a long period.
30, 45 days maybe, right, just to close, and then the rehab portion, and then filling it with your tenants. It's the same thing with commercial.
Yeah.
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 Due diligence, closing the deal,
Yeah.
filling the space, rehab,
Yeah.
and it's just a little bit more.
You just
Yeah.
add
Yeah,
another
and-
zero.
yeah.
And so are on these commercial deals, you guys are burring them too?
Yeah, what's
is
the
that
dispo?
is
What's
that
your
the dispo
strategy?
strategy?
So
Same, yeah.
For this property, because it's going so well, right? Like
Yeah.
I filled it. I'm
Yeah.
in the process of increasing the value. I'm just holding it for now.
Yeah.
And then gonna look at it in probably like 2 years to see what my refinance
Would look like.
because the
Got
rates
it.
are so high and my interest rate is like 3.5.
So you're good
Yeah.
right now. Yeah.
So we can just leave it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then just in kind of this year I told myself, okay, acquisition mode. Like what does that
Yeah.
like,
What does that look like?
Yeah, what
Yeah.
does that look like?
Well, I feel like that's a good segue into like what are your goals for 2023? Because it's when this is being filmed, it's January of 2023. So like, what are you hoping to accomplish this year?
So because we had our 1 year of stabilization last year, right?
Yeah.
And just learning,
Yeah.
right? Just learning everything. Like
Yeah.
getting calls from my PM,
Yeah.
like, hey, the sprinkler broke. Like, what the heck? What sprinkler?
Yeah.
Like the fire suppression system, right? Like it flooded. We needed to do water extraction. Like things went wrong throughout the year,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
And like the 80,000, it's not today, right?
Right.
It's-
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
So I want to say like my cash flow for this 1 year on this property, maybe like 30,000 when it's everything like
That's
said
amazing.
and done, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so this year, by getting another property on our books, I want that to be 80,000 cash flow.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and then my husband's like, "What? We're already at that." I'm like,
You're
"No,
like, "No, we're
dude.
not."
Like that's not the same."
Yeah.
Yeah. We're thinking we can't count the dollars.
Yeah.
That
So
are
like
from
we
2 years
we
ago.
have it like stacked up in our account, right? But I'm not
Yeah.
counting that. I'm
No.
counting
Right.
myself right now zero cash flow
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's not directly being
Yeah.
deposited into my personal account, right?
Totally.
I'm saving that up for my rainy day.
Yeah.
So after all my
Super
rainy
smart,
day,
'cause you have
after
to
everything,
count for capital
yeah,
expenditures, all that stuff.
everything that can go wrong. Remember,
Vacancy.
adding an extra zero.
Right. Because it's commercial, it's everything's bigger.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if I save
Super
up
smart.
100,000, that's only one roof.
Yeah.
Right.
But I have like 7
Yeah.
HVAC systems, right?
Yeah.
If one HVAC system costs
Goes out.
30,000,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? So I told him, I said, "Where you have zero cash flow?" He's like, "What? That's not what you said." No, you're not listening
Yeah.
to what I said. I took nothing
Yeah.
from right the amount I'm paying out private money lenders.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
My cash is like
We
this.
it's called continued stabilization.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I think too, what's so interesting about commercial to us is all the things that you've mentioned so far, but then we didn't talk about like depreciation or cost
we
segs
didn't talk
or
about any
of that stuff,
more
right?
benefits.
Oh,
Yeah. So like we just scratched the surface, you know? And for us in our business where we're generating a lot of active income, we have to figure out ways to
offset
that, right? And so commercial is like a really enticing space for us. But I think it's just when you don't fully understand something, it's scary. You know what I mean?
I still don't understand, but I'm going.
I know, and that's why I love
attitude.
that. That's why I love it, because
that's
that's literally your motto. So I always say one of our superpowers is figuring it the fuck out. Like that's literally like our motto. And I think people are scared to do that, right? Like
Yes,
they
are.
want to know everything before they take that leap. And it just, especially in real estate, time is so important, right? You have an opportunity that presents itself. You have to jump on that opportunity or somebody else is going to do it.
Well,
you
and
know?
I feel like if you think that you're going to figure out every little thing before you take action, then you're truly misguided because you're never going to know everything.
Yeah.
You won't know. And we just talked about this in our last like group mentorship. Like everyone needs to be analyzing more deals. And I'm at fault. Like I'm gonna say, I'm really busy.
Yeah.
So I haven't been, practicing as much as I should, but running all the numbers, right? Like I'm kind of like, oh, that's a cool one. Like let me run it. Oh, it didn't work out. But it's a lot of deals to be analyzed before you get one accepted.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I can't go to my realtor every single property, right? And be like, hey, I don't know this. Can you help me? I don't know this. Can you help me, right? You're just running and you have your assumptions, right? I'm assuming I could get this much for square footage, right?
Right.
And with all the assumptions, right, this is kind of what my offers look like.
Right.
Right. And then
Shoot your shot.
I
You know
ask
what
my
I mean?
team and then, okay, yep, sounds good. Let's shoot it.
And you can
Yeah.
always back out. You can always cancel the contract. So don't let submitting it stop you.
Yeah. And for a commercial, it's a lot of negotiations, right? So they'll come back. Well, if they want to play ball, right?
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
always say, does the seller want to play ball?
Right.
Right. So we'll shoot it like 500,000 below what they offered.
Right.
And they'll come back, be like, no, this.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so what makes you think that your property is worth this?
Worth this. Yeah.
This is what you guys said it's performing at, right? But if I
Yeah.
run the numbers the way that you said it's performing,
Yeah. This is where I'm
This
at.
is what it's
Yeah.
worth.
but
yeah.
it's not. You're telling me if this space was filled out.
You
Right.
can't sell on perceived value that isn't there yet.
$20 a square foot. Like I can tell you anything can sell at $20 a square
Yeah,
foot,
exactly.
right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Until
right,
it's actually
There,
full.
it don't matter.
right now it's zero.
Right,
yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's so interesting. So
So you're just trying to get people to hit the ball back in your court so you can play.
Which
There you
is the
go.
law of large numbers at the end of the day. And I feel like, do you feel like in this current market, in residential where we play here in Hawaii, I mean, the market's shifting and there's going to be more opportunity again, like it was in pre-COVID times on the MLS. Do you think it's going to be similar in the commercial space
To
have more opportunity
the opportunity is now.
yeah.
right now?
Right now. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm at fault. Like I'm not analyzing as many deals as I should be. Right. I'm preaching it, right? Like tell my husband, like run the numbers.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
There's so many deals out there.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I just did one. Yeah, but opportunity is now, right? A lot of people are still buying, taking advantage of motivated sellers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just gotta find that motivated seller.
Totally.
And
Yep.
in commercial space, right? You don't know what that seller is going through.
Nope.
Like, heck,
Exactly.
I just want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Right.
Like, I've made money because I bought this property 10 years ago. And even if I sell it at a lower amount, which seems motivated for us, right? They're
Yeah.
still walking away with
With
hundreds.
a
bank.
ton.
With
Yeah.
bank. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just want to get out of that space.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So what kind of marketing, like how are you guys finding deals? Is it strictly from
Strictly
realtor?
from my amazing
Realtor.
agent. Yeah.
Love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Love that.
And I've heard this many times, but more so than in the residential space, in the commercial space, it's literally ruled by agents and brokers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like, just my broker talks to other brokers, and all the brokers have like relationships, so they know if like, oh man, this is a shitty broker or
Yeah.
this is a good broker, right? So
Right.
all the pocket hip listings, that's how we're getting a lot of properties.
Yeah,
Right.
that's awesome.
Love that.
Why, I don't know how to phrase this question. Why office spaces and like renting to businesses over buying apartment buildings?
Okay. Yeah, so now there's a lot of people like the multifamily space.
Oh my
Right,
gosh,
right, right.
it's like
It's-
it's
it's
been there
the-
forever, but it's like
It's-
really
It's
big
the
right now.
trending thing
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now, for
Yeah.
sure.
So for me, when you have a business running it, right,
Mm-hmm.
they're responsible for everything in their own space,
Everything.
right? The light bulbs, the toilets, right? They're responsible for it. In multifamily, you're still the
Responsible
landlord
for a
of
lot.
that individual unit, right?
Totally.
So if you have one toilet, but you have 30 units, that's 30 toilets,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That you have to go and get unplugged if something happens, right?
Yeah.
So and you have families with kids. I'm not against family with kids because I'm
Right.
family with kids,
Right,
right?
right,
We,
But-
we are too.
Family with kids and dogs, like, man, they can trash your place. They trash my residential space,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
My
But
one-night
office
home.
buildings and businesses want a presentable.
Right, because it's their business. It's
Yes.
their
Yeah.
livelihood.
Right.
Right.
How they present to the community.
Exactly. So they're taking care of that space
Yeah.
because it's how they make money. Multifamily, they don't.
They just live there.
They just live there.
Yep.
And some people, they don't care if they lose their deposit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, oh, take my $500. Take my
Yeah.
$1,000.
Yeah.
I don't have to clean it. I don't have to do anything. I can leave out my trash here.
And
Yeah.
usually,
Makes
correct me
perfect
if I'm
sense.
wrong, like in commercial, there's a lot less eviction.
Oh yeah, because it's a lot of it's their business, right? So you can negotiate with the landlord on like, hey, I am struggling this month, like, can we work this out? But
Yeah.
I'm, this is my business. I'm not going to give up on it. They're going to
Yeah.
keep trying.
Yeah.
And then as far as evicting businesses that are backed, right? Like mom and pop store is a little bit harder, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's their own individual. But if my property is Park University, like one of the gigantic universities,
Yeah.
like they're going to default on their
Like probably not.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
like,
Well,
hospice, nursing
The
facilities.
mentality of business owners, like even if they know that they can't perform, they're not going to fight you because they know that they can't perform.
Yeah,
you know what I
right.
mean? Versus not all. I'm not saying that we rented for many years. I'm not saying that renters are bad. The mentality is just a little bit different from a business owner.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going through an eviction right now with a tenant. You know, it's not fun, like at all.
Especially in Hawaii. But
Oh yeah. 'Cause
Why not commercial in Hawaii?
so just like residential space, right? Looking for cash flow, it's
Hard.
It's harder, right? It's not impossible.
Yeah.
Right? People do it. But the cash flow with the money that I'm investing in Missouri just goes further. Just
Yeah.
like with
just makes more
Yeah.
sense.
Makes
Yeah.
more
on the
sense.
number side.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to just own a gigantic warehouse that I can be like, hey guys, we're gonna just party the shit out of this place.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Like a lot of my family, like, oh, you should buy this building. You should buy this warehouse. We can
Yeah.
do all of these things. Like,
Yeah.
who's paying for these
Yeah,
things?
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like,
You're like, guys, it doesn't cash
yeah,
flow.
yeah. They're like, oh, but it'd be so cool. I'm like, it would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One
Yeah,
day,
cool.
let me go buy 20 more buildings.
Yeah, then we can go be cool and have this gigantic warehouse and throw
Yeah.
parties. But right
That's
now,
classic.
there's no money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny. So what is the biggest challenge so far in your investing career that you've had to overcome?
So I would look back on my family as far as not my family being an obstacle, but where my husband and I started before real estate till where we are now.
Yeah.
So we started with WNN in 2020, I think.
Yeah.
2020, like
Something
the
like
beginning
that.
of 2020.
Yeah.
But we lost our daughter in November. So we started in like April, and then we lost our daughter the previous November.
Oh,
So we went from having my son,
Yeah.
right? And then the next year, or the same year, my husband deployed. He came back. We got pregnant again. We lost our daughter. We moved like twice. And now we have our daughter now, right? So
Yeah.
there's three of us.
Right.
Yeah.
There are three of my children.
Yeah.
So we just had like life stressors, right? And
Happen.
things
I
are
mean,
happening. And,
boom, boom, boom,
right?
boom. Yeah.
And so
You couldn't catch a break.
when people go through deployment, you hear about like just
Yeah.
families just can't last through deployment.
They
Yeah.
break
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
Yep.
We lost our baby, right? So
Yeah.
some people don't bounce back from
From
that.
that.
Right.
And I'm trying to get into real estate, right? Still
At the same
create
time,
this
yeah.
generational wealth, trying to
Mm-hmm.
make something for my family. And the way that I healed and the way that my husband healed, it was different.
Yeah.
Right.
So a lot of close family and friends, they know, like my husband, he's about drinking and you know, not so healthy, more of the manly way to deal with things, right?
Right.
And for me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna share it.
Yeah.
So I think
I'm
it's
gonna
like
talk about
2 weeks after we came from the hospital, I'm like, I'm gonna post it.
Wow.
He's like, what do you mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to share. I need to share it.
Yeah.
Like that's how I'm gonna.
I'm gonna
That's
go
how you're
through
gonna
this.
heal.
Right?
Yeah.
So we went through all those life stressors, right? And just going through that, me and my husband, right? Like 3 kids. We went to deployment, lost our baby, and it was just back and forth, right?
Yeah.
It was never a lot of turbulence for us.
Oh,
right?
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kicked them out, like, dude, get
Yeah,
the
yeah.
heck out of my
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're not helping me move forward.
Right.
And so now that our baby is going to be 5 months soon.
And she's
Yeah.
the cutest little
Yeah.
thing ever.
So like good, all that and where we're at right now, we're better, but we're still going through like the
Yeah.
daily things that
Yeah.
annoy the crap out of each other on
Totally.
top of our healing process, on top of us not wanting to go through divorce, not wanting to give up, him having different goals, me having different goals.
Yeah.
And like we're still figuring
Still figuring
it
it
out.
out.
You're still doing
Yeah.
the song and dance, but
Yeah.
you're both still in it.
We're still in it, right? And so people are like, oh, it's so hard. I'm like, yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
your story, but
yeah.
why it's so hard, but this is our story, and we're
Yeah.
still living it. Like
Right.
we haven't,
We ain't through the
Yeah.
thick of it yet.
Yeah, so-
we're in it.
we're in it. So, just you sent me that podcast about balance, right?
So
like
good, right?
women and balancing.
Shout out to Jessica Hurley. She's putting out some dope podcasts
Yes,
with women.
amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that
Yeah.
with me. But yeah, just trying to balance that on top of a turbulent like past 5 years that you
Totally.
know our families had, and we're like, okay, well, what are we gonna do right now? What's your vision? What's your vision, hon? What are you doing? And so now he's finally like, okay, I'm in a better place. Okay, I'm ready to
Let's do this.
start.
Let's
Yeah.
try and actually open up that
Yeah.
box again.
And
Let's
I mean,
try and unpack
a lot
this.
of, you know, when you're going through that phase of a turbulent home, right? A lot of nice things are not being said, right? So
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
sure,
my
like,
God. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, like, a lot of things like
Yeah.
now I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bite my tongue a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the biggest, like, that's been our obstacle.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
going through all of life stressors and still being here
Healing
today.
while progressing.
Yeah, and trying to do better, right? Like,
Yeah.
1% better every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Healing while progressing is no joke, but I think the narrative is that you have to heal in order to progress. And I agree with that to an extent, but I feel like you can do both at the same time.
Yes.
You can take time to continue to heal and truly go to those dark places that you don't want to fucking go because they suck.
Yeah, it does.
They suck. Trust me. I've spent the last quarter and this quarter still doing it. It's not fun and it's exhausting, but you can not compartmentalize, but like almost compartmentalize where you allow yourself to feel, then you allow yourself to acknowledge that you're going to put that on the shelf because you're going to go and progress over here. You know what I mean? So it's like, don't feel like because you haven't done the work here that you can't do the work somewhere else.
Yeah, definitely.
know?
Yeah. So
But I feel like our marriage, yeah, dude. Yeah. Marriage
Yeah.
in any circumstance is super hard.
Yeah,
but then
like-
going through what you guys have gone through, if y'all can make it through that,
yeah, like everything else is like, fuck it, let's go. We'll
Yeah,
figure it out.
yeah, exactly.
easy peasy.
Yeah.
You know?
And like
That's
we've
so
been
cool.
through like dark times, right? I mean, we're still young. We haven't been married that long. You see people married for 30, 40 years,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually, I want to be a stay-at-home mom, but my kids are going to go to school and I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
for my business, my real estate.
Yeah.
So is that really a stay-at-home mom?
No,
Right.
I don't know.
I want to stay at home mom, but I don't want a mom when I'm at home.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you have the other side that's like, okay, I want a simple life. And the other side's like, I want more.
Yeah, I want more.
I want to conquer the world.
Exactly.
And then you have these ambitions that never really die. And so it's like, but then not being hard on yourself, and there's no true shit as balance. Like, I'm sorry, I don't believe in balance. I don't think it exists. It's integration into allowing yourself to be slow one day and then allowing yourself to be 150% the next day, and then being cool with it.
Yeah, like
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm talking about like the healing process, right? So we're trying to heal. I'm trying to balance my kids, right? And so, I mean, yeah, people have kids, like they're older. Right now, I'm in the baby phase.
Baby phase.
I am the baby phase.
Yeah.
My baby's doo-doo is still yellow. Like,
Yeah.
That's how baby phase I am, right?
Yeah.
And my son, he's 3.
Yeah.
Right? So he's about to be 4. So he's like in the tenacious 3.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Oh, my
crazy.
God. So
Kolohe.
yeah, I'm in the baby phase.
You're
Like,
in the-
I have my kids like 12, 13, like my kid that cannot even walk by himself.
Right.
You're fully
That's
reliant on
different.
me.
Like, I'm hungry. I want water. Like, go make your own
Yeah.
water, right?
Yeah. Oh my
So I'm
god.
trying to balance,
Tell me about
the
it.
babies, right? Making
Yeah.
sure that I'm showing my kids enough love, right? But my son wants mommy, right? The baby needs mommy.
Yeah.
My husband needs me all the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I have a baby on one nipple.
Yeah.
That I have my hand on my other
Other one,
kid, and
yeah.
I don't have.
I don't have it in
Don't
me.
touch me. So yeah, that's just the
man.
season that we're
That
in, like,
you're in.
acquiring, we're in the building phase, right?
Yeah.
And trying to be mom,
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
not be that bitchy wife, right?
Yeah.
And my husband, he's like, and they have different love languages,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
My husband is just a love language, like he just wants to be loved,
Yeah,
right?
him
I'm
too.
like, dude, I know you love me.
Yeah.
It was never a question if you
Yeah,
love me.
yeah.
Yeah. Do the freaking laundry.
But I just want to be alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to be like alone in seclusion
Yeah.
with the lights
Yeah.
off
My
and
husband's
quiet.
like, so do you want your space? Oh my God, leave me alone. Stop asking me. You already know the answer.
You're literally in the building phase of every part of your life. Building your business, building your marriage back, building your kids, like
Yeah.
physically taking care of them so that they grow into adults, you know? Like, I mean, we're still in a lot of the thick of that too.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I don't have a 5-month-old, but I have a 6 and a 4-year-old. You know,
it's this craziness.
one's starting to get to the place where she can be more independent. The other one is still a baby.
Yeah.
Our boy,
Mommy.
yeah, still needs everything. So, and then I don't know. Question for you guys is the building of your business ever stop?
No, I mean,
No, I don't think so.
you guys saw me at the real estate meetup with my one almost 2-month-old baby, like
Yeah.
pushing around.
Yeah.
Networking.
Just
You know what I
going.
mean? Like, and I feel like you set goals for yourself and then you just move the needle once you achieve
Yeah,
that
the
goal into
goalpost
something
just
up.
consistently gets moved forward. I
right.
think that's just how we are.
So
We're
what's
just-
working for you though? Like, how are you not in a corner crying?
Chaos.
Yeah.
I love it.
thrive in chaos? That's another quality
That's the
that
entrepreneur
a
curse right there.
ton of entrepreneurs have, is they thrive in that chaos. I know we do. For
100%.
sure. Yeah.
100%. I need to introduce you to my life coach, Ludmila.
Oh, she's awesome.
No.
She would be so-
I probably need a life coach. My husband probably
She's
like, yeah, you
unreal.
need a life coach.
I know. I fought that good fight of saying I was good for a long time.
Yeah.
It didn't get me anywhere.
It's true.
It's like, we should do marriage counseling. I don't need no counseling. You need counseling.
Yeah.
Oh man, I get it. Okay, so now flip that though, because I mean, I feel like your struggle is super relatable. Well, what has been your best success or like your
triumph-
highest achievement?
Triumph or success.
Because you've like just blazed, you know,
Yeah.
for a long
I mean,
time.
right now, sitting at Deals Aloha podcast.
Oh my God,
right?
There you go.
Right? Like, oh,
Love
look
it.
at me. Shout out to my babies. Oh, we made it.
You're funny.
That's so funny.
You're hilarious.
I mean, just like right now, I'm trying to create more,
Yeah.
right? So like my success, I know I'm be the mom, like, oh my, look at my kids, right? I mean, I'm just trying to be the best that I can be, so my kids beat me,
Yeah,
right?
there you
Like,
go.
hey, this is where I'm at.
that's
Right?
huge.
Beat me.
Yeah.
Right. So it's competition, a lot of competition growing up, but I'm here because I want my siblings to beat me. So like I said, like I have 7 younger siblings. The
Yeah.
youngest is 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey, beat me.
Yeah.
This is where I'm at. Beat
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we love to congratulate everyone on their, successes. And when you fail, okay, we laugh a little bit, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
I love that. Because I feel like it's our responsibility as children to take what our parents taught us, to do everything with that and then pass what our parents have done.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's like the ultimate accomplishment, or the not accomplishment, but the ultimate compliment to our parents.
Right.
Is that, look, you've paved the way and made it that much easier with what you taught me, and you got to this point. Now I'm gonna 10x that shit.
Yeah, that's
because of what you did.
And
you
so
know what I mean?
you're looking at it and you're like, I'm setting the bar here.
Yeah.
Come
So,
on, guys, let's
like,
go.
I love that.
And
Yeah,
for
that's
my
cool.
kids, right? Like, we're in a good place. Like, I guess financially, even my husband, we argue, fight. We went.
You
through
can
our stuff.
breathe, though.
Right? Yeah, we like, hey, if we did nothing,
We'd
it'd be okay.
Yeah.
Right?
But
Yep.
for the entrepreneur chaos, we're
Yeah.
like, okay, ain't enough.
Yeah, let's go. But like, so like, if like my kids, they won't know the struggle, right? They'll get it easier.
Right,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
My son thinks Disneyland is a trip to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And what
Mine
a
too.
blessing,
Mine
right?
too.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
Yes, I know you're spoiled.
Right.
But yeah, so just trying to raise them and provide them things that, I wasn't necessarily given,
Yep.
and create that standard or that bar for them to
Yeah.
beat mommy,
Yeah.
beat daddy.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you this.
Yeah.
Now what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And same thing for my siblings. Like, hey, I'm the oldest. I'll be so happy if you guys blow me out of the water.
Right.
Right? Because
Right,
that means
right.
like I've done my job.
Yeah.
What do you
You've done
do
your
with
job.
the siblings that you feel like aren't living up to their potential? Is that frustrating for you as like, or 'cause-
Different personalities, right? Different
Yeah.
strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
But just I think we just kind of I'm really close with my siblings.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I know that they have the fire. They have that drive to do
That
more.
you have,
Right.
yeah.
They just sometimes like a little bit slower.
Yeah.
A little bit slower.
Yeah.
Like so one brother. He just liked to have a lot of fun, right?
Mm.
So now he's a little bit older. He's like, okay, I think I need to do something now. I'm like, oh my god, okay, finally you got it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So now just trying to be as supportive as I can, trying not to be mom all the time. So that's I try to let them know. So I have a brother. He's a senior right now in high school. I'm like, if you need me as a sister, you tell me. If
Yeah.
you don't, I'm gonna be mom.
Right.
So if you want two people yelling at you like mom, I can
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
But if today you need a sister,
You
then
tell
tell
me.
me.
Let me know you
Right?
need a
Like I
sister.
don't know what I don't know. So if
Yeah.
you tell me that, okay, I need you to be my sister today. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I'll be. But I'm not going to give you. Don't come with me in excuses. They know
Right.
like excuses.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
take that.
I don't do
right?
that.
Right. Yeah.
But to be supportive, and then because it's so many different personalities and traits, right? It's different. Like, okay, for you these things work. For you these things work. So
Totally.
I need to like chameleon, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
this is what you need. This is what you need. You need tough love. Okay, you need a hug, right? You need love.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard for me, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
'cause
Right. Yeah.
I don't get why you're like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so hard. But you're leading from the front. That's all you can keep doing.
Yep,
Is
and-
setting the bar high, setting the example, and just keep going.
And whatever
Yep.
help they need, try to just
try to do
be
it
there. Yeah, provide
Yeah.
it for them.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
without
Totally.
excuses, though.
Without
Ain't no bullshit allowed here.
Exactly.
Okay, so what?
No. I wanted to talk a little bit about, so like you said you want to do more, you're growing. I know one of those things is the meetup side of things.
Yeah,
And you
so-
started a company. Can you talk about that a little bit?
So currently, again, in the building phase, right?
Yeah.
So I named it Taro Patch Collective.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea and the mission behind it is to bring the real estate community together, whether you're a new investor, a seasoned investor, or thinking about investing,
Mm-hmm.
and creating that community.
Love that.
So like one of the best resources is your community, your
Yeah,
people,
the
right?
people around you,
And
yeah.
Totally.
so, I mean, I came to you guys' first meetup in this very house,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
crazy, right?
So
and
wild.
I've done, the real estate in the park,
Yeah.
small things like on Zoom, but I really love the networking, and it holds me accountable in a sense where, hey, I have to go somewhere and I have to show up. And while I'm
Yep.
showing up, am I just stepping in to show up? Why am I here? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, am I gonna network? Okay, so what's the point of me networking,
Networking,
right?
yeah.
So, giving, receiving. And so with Taro Patch Collective, working in a Taro Patch, it's people with different tools, right? Different knowledge, all coming together to
Yep.
work on fruits of our labor.
Yeah.
And that's the kalo plant, the taro
Yeah.
plant, right?
Yep.
And That's what was created at the Taro Patch. But you can take it and do whatever you want with it, right? If you want to go make lala, you want to can do our stew, you want to just make poi, right? You can do whatever you want with it and mix it and make it your own, right? Here's my taro banana bread, my
whatever you want.
Put some freaking what is that? Like corned beef in it, whatever you want. You can make it whatever you want. But it's all because all these people came together to provide this fruit. And at the end, it's not what I put in, right? It's what I can give to other people,
right?
And I was just watching. I think it was like a different podcast, but they were talking about when it's storming, right? That's the best time to work the land, right? So if you're in that point in real estate where it's a storm and things aren't going your way, that's when you should show up. That's when
even
you
more
connect,
so than
right?
any other
that's
time.
That's when you should work on it.
100%.
And
totally.
There's people there, so it's sunny and it's growing, but it's when the storm hits, when you feel like you have nobody else to lean on, you don't know what to do. Come to events from the Taro Patch Collective and leverage your community.
Yeah, I love that because in those very times is when most people pull back and hide.
Like, I don't want to.
They're like, I'm going through it by myself.
The regret sets in.
Exactly.
All these things.
And
people really won't understand it. I'll look and feel stupid. All these things.
And we've all done things that in our real estate journey, we're like, oh man, that was a bad decision. Oh,
right.
that was shit.
Yeah.
Right?
But totally.
We share like, okay, oh man, look, I lost money, but this was good, right? We see the Instagram part, but come talk story. Like really, I really did lose money.
How I was crying and had anxiety and wanted to quit. Yeah.
Believe it or not, we've been through a lot of the same things, and they're not always good. Like, there's always some really hard things. So I love that.
I love that too. And I think that that's what we try to do with Deals Aloha. And I think it's such a beautiful thing to see it just like show up in all these other places where there's just more opportunity for more people to connect and to collaborate and to share this mindset of like, you need help, I can help you. You need this, I got that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And being like, when I'm hosting these events, I'm not the most experienced in the room, but let me connect you with somebody who I do know.
Exactly.
Right.
Totally.
Exactly.
Love that. So cool. Well, you got to keep us posted on that because we want to help in any way. Well, I told you
at the last meetup, I was like, we need to collaborate and put together some really dope, big events.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, let's do all these things.
Let's do all the things.
Because Hawaii people, we have to fly to go to these really cool events.
And people won't fly. I mean, you see people who are flying to the events, but I would say they're more of the seasoned investors who are going to show up.
Because
not the beginner.
The beginners can't afford these $2,000-$3,000 tickets to these events where you do get to rub shoulders with people. Like, let's bring those types of events here.
Yes.
That would be
unreal.
And
let's do it together.
Let's do it.
Because that's what I'm
we'll figure it out.
Just like
figure it the fuck out.
We're gonna have an event next month.
And it's fun too, right? So
it is fun.
Yeah.
But the figuring out process is fun, you know. And then you
look
just
what
get
I
better.
did.
Yeah.
You just get better and better and better. Okay, so last question that we ask everybody to close it out is: what impact do you hope to leave with the audience?
My impact, if you're getting into real estate or doing any venture that you're choosing, bet on yourself. I think that's something that I've done, not necessarily said it, right? But if there are things that were going on in my life or obstacles, like I always bet on myself. Joining the military, I'm like, yeah, I can do it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
They sent me to like engineering school. Right, in the combat, blow stuff up. Yep, okay.
I can do it.
I can do it.
Like, hey, you want to jump out of an airplane? Yep. So, sign me up. I can do that.
Like
real estate, commercial. Okay, I'm gonna do that. If I'm gonna bet on someone, I'm gonna bet on myself.
Love that.
Me too. Yeah. I love that. Well, believing that you can do it because whatever you believe, you're absolutely correct.
Yep. And if you don't know, come ask somebody at a Patch Collective.
There you go. Yeah.
I love it.
Because somebody knows. There is somebody
knows.
there that's been through it and that knows and that you can lean on.
Yeah.
And it's important to do that.
Yeah. So, where can people find you?
You can find me on my Instagram, Shyne Bright, Shyne with a Y, SHYNE, Bright _real estate.
Got it.
Nice.
This was super fun.
Super fun. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming. looking forward to like a ton of collaboration.
Oh,
so
yes.
Yeah. No.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do that. Peace.
all right.
It's all good.